Hello everybody, and welcome to the Outlaws Chapel. I'm Bill Finlay, your host. When God's Word is outlawed, I will be an outlaw. The Outlaws Chapel is a response to the enemies of God who are hard at work trying to criminalize Christianity, and it appears they are succeeding. Jesus and his followers were considered outlaws by the authorities of his day, and ever since, faithful followers of Christ have been considered outlaws by somebody somewhere. So be it. When the laws of men violate the laws of God, our duty is clear. We must obey God rather than men. The Outlaws Chapel was born shortly after the despicable Obergefell Supreme Court decision where 5 lawyers decided they had the authority to overturn God's institution of the family and to force their blasphemous anti-God opinion on all of us. No one who bears the Lord's name can ever bow down to such immoral rulings. The primary enemies coming against God's people are the homosexual movement, Islam, the most violent false religion in the world, and government corruption, generally known as liberalism. These groups are bringing serious persecution against men and women of faith. Their favorite methods include a massive campaign of lies and deceit, corrupt courts that trample faith and freedom in the name of political correctness, and of course the brutal violence of Islam that is determined to slaughter anyone who refuses to bow down to their satanic religion. The storm clouds of persecution are forming over our nations, the USA, Canada, the UK, and Australia. We are all facing the same threats, all flowing from the same source, the satanic evil that is in the world. And the response from the Christian church has been pathetic. Pastors are afraid to preach what God says about homosexuality because they're afraid of offending their congregation. Christians are afraid to stand up for God's truth in their own neighborhood for fear of being called names. Students in schools and Christians in their workplaces are afraid of being harassed, ridiculed, and threatened if they dare to express their faith. This massive campaign of anti-God intimidation has effectively silenced the Christian church in the public square. Now, when the Christians retreated from representing God in elected offices, in the schools, and, yes, in many of our churches, it left a vacuum that was quickly filled by the enemies of God. Well, a silent Christian is a defeated Christian. There's only one power that can push back the forces of evil that have overrun Western civilization, and that is a wholehearted return to God in our personal lives, our families, our churches, and our government. The Christian church itself has become a mockery of what it's supposed to be. The Christian church is supposed to turn this world upside down with its powerful testimony, but sadly, most churches are stuck in a nice, comfortable rut that they created. After years of traveling, speaking, and observing, I believe the average Christian has 2 goals. 1, to make themselves as comfortable as possible until the day they die, and 2, to make it all the way through life without ever offending anybody. What do you think God will have to say about that on Judgment Day? Yes, Judgment Day is coming. The clock is ticking. We only have a short time to invest our lives in such a way as to make a difference. The Outlaws Chapel is for the men and women of faith who are ready to break out of the churchy church rut and to get into the fray, to boldly stand in opposition to those who brazenly stand in opposition to God and God's Word. If you're ready to take a stand, then welcome to the Outlaws Chapel. Come on in and fellowship with your fellow scrappers in the faith, men and women of faith from around the world. We're all in this together. I'm Bill Finlay, your host, and I will see you on the front lines.